Welcome to this week's edition of the 100 Mile Journey. My name is Brian. This is my weekly update. Not entirely true this week. I just came back from vacation about a week ago, so I'm trying to catch up on my videos. In order to do that, I'm going to go ahead and do two updates. So you're going to get two for the price of one this week. Hey, thanks again for joining me this week. Just completed weeks 4 and 5 of my 18-week training plan, which means I only have 13 weeks left until the Rio Del Lago 100. 18 weeks ago, it seemed like a very long time to go. Now that I'm down to 13 weeks, I can start to see the 100-mile run coming up. Because of my training, I'm not nervous at all. I think that I'm right on track. I'm doing good, feeling strong. So, just kind of a recap of what happened over the last couple of weeks. Week 4 was the last week of training block number 1. So it was an easy week, which was actually a really good thing for me because we went up to Lake Tahoe for the week. And if I had to run 20 plus miles in altitude, and also it was hot that week, and it was very smoky because of fires, so I would have been in seriously bad shape. So thank goodness it was an easy week. Week 5 was a 60-mile week, and I have to say, I think it was one of my best weeks of training so far. I did all of the scheduled miles. I had a ton of fun running on Saturday, hooked up with a few friends, and then even along the way as we were running, we picked up some runners along the way. It was super fun. It was just a great time. The Saturday run was actually led by a few trainers, Brad and Nicola. Nicola actually is going to be doing the Rio Del Lago 100 also with one of the people that she's working with. She was inspirational and really fun to run with. All together, we talked about pacing strategies, having patience, over the long haul, doing a run-walk cadence, walking up some of the hills. Don't be concerned about the speed. Just be concerned about the long term of everything. So one thing that did come out of it is they decided they had to do a 50-mile race, like an actual race, not a self-supported run before the 100. Part of the reason behind that is so that I get used to the pacing and the cutoff times with the aid stations and running with other runners. You know, I need to stay in my lane. Don't get too excited. Don't go out too fast. And that 50-mile run is kind of to help me set my expectations for the 100-mile race. It's a little easier to recover from a bad start with a 50-mile race than it is with the 100-mile race. So I will consider this advice, and I think I have run targeted, but we'll see how it goes. So I'm continuing to adjust my running schedule based on where I am. Nothing major, just a little bit of tweaks here and there. I have added a few more miles back in. I just want to make sure that when I get to the run, I have the absolute confidence to complete it. There's a fine line between making sure I don't overtrain and or undertrain. So I want to come in right in the middle of there. And another thing to keep into consideration with this is because of the fires, I also need to make sure I can get in the miles whenever I possibly have the opportunities. Living in the Sacramento Valley puts you in a great position to run some of the absolute best runs possible. I mean, just beautiful areas to run in. It does suck, however, in that it does trap in smoke for days and weeks. So you really have to pick and choose when you're going to get out. Getting out early is always one of the best strategies, but sometimes that doesn't even work because just the smoke gets trapped in for days and the air becomes unhealthy. You might have to travel out of the area if you can find an area within a couple hundred miles that is going to be clear. So when you have the opportunity, my advice is take the opportunity to run, especially from late July through the end of September when the fires are really here. The fires can really adversely affect your lungs in so many different ways. So looking at my schedule over the next 13 weeks, 8 of these Saturday runs that I have are marathon and greater distances. When I started the journey back in February, it was extremely hard to imagine that I was going to be at the point where I could do those kind of miles over that length of time. But as I've slowly ramped up, worked on my base, my fitness level, I can actually start to see the possibilities. I actually feel that I can do this now. Before it was just a goal, but as I've put on the miles and put in the time, I'm actually starting to believe that I can do this. So I'm really excited about this. It's really it's something that I had as a goal. I was hoping I could achieve it. I actually believe I can achieve it now. So I'm also happy to report with all that work and the dieting and the strength exercise, it's all really starting to pay off. At the end of my last Saturday run, I was under 200 pounds, 199.7 to be exact. It's been 20 years since I've been down that low. But, I feel like I'm also running stronger at the same time, feeling pretty darn fit. And I just see upside from here on out. Last thing I wanted to mention this week is that after my long runs over the last 3 or 4 weeks, the heat, I've been really super dehydrated after the runs. I've had plenty of water along the way. You've had lots of electrolytes. It's just not sticking in. It's just not sticking. So last week I went ahead and I switched over to Tailwind to supply my electrolytes, my calories, and my caffeine. Along the way, basically I was just taking little sips out of my hand bottles and replenishing them. Now, one bottle I did keep full of water after the first half of the run, just so that I could kind of rinse my mouth, get any kind of like the sugary taste out. But you know what? The Tailwind, I have to say, so far it's been a great product as far as I haven't been thirsty and it's been keeping my calories up. Now, I do typically eat a little bit of food just to fill my stomach, but over the 24-mile run that we did last week, I really wasn't hungry at all. So Tailwind, I got to give thumbs up to. It's probably a product I'm going to stick with. I'll keep trying it out. And if it suddenly doesn't work out anymore, I'll let you know. Thank you very much for joining me this week. If you can, get out and enjoy the great wide world while you can. Take advantage of everything that you can while you can. Enjoy nature. Don't take from nature. And I'll see you next week.
Hi, Nicola.
Hey.
First time running with you.
Yep.
Really great to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Yeah, you're a really good runner. What,
as she laughs. It's all relative, so are you.
Yeah, well, sounds like you've been running for a while, so what keeps you running?
Gosh, you know what? I go in waves. So this wave is just, I took a year and a half off, like a lot of people did. I kind of took it as our opportunity to chill out for a little bit. But then I felt really lazy and it was just time to get back into it. So here I am.
All right.
Yeah, that was it.
So one thing that I like to ask people is, you know, like if you're like BCT hiker, people have a trail name, right?
Okay, nope.
So if you had a running trail name, what do you think it would be?
So you would hear people call me Savage because it's my maiden name. So it kind of just works. So you might hear people yell Savage to me. And it's also my coaching company, which I'm not going to peg, but I just kind of got fortunate with that as a maiden name.
So where do you think you'll go from here with your running?
Who knows? RDL, and then that's it. And then we'll see what happens after that. We're going to keep this on tape because we're going to thank Tom on tape for the water that he gave our buddy that's back there. We swiped some water from you, so thanks for that.
Thank you. All right.